Good morning to lecturers. My name is Shim. I'm going to present my Project 3 home office for my client. The design of a dwelling for an artist is a means for discovering what it means to live and work in a space that holistically engages program and human sense. I am asked to design a dream place for my client. It should not be a typical house. It should also be a place that can cater both private and public activities for my client. In Project 1, I have been exploring the understanding of architecture spaces. For this, the relation between the user and space through anthropometric study. And in Project 2, on the other hand, is more on understanding the site. This is my key plan and location plan. The site is located at the Pradana Botanical Gardens. This is the surrounding public uses and public transportations around the proposed location. There's a Pradana eating corner, boat jetty, tram system, bamboo playhouse, and a Pradana canopy. This is the site analysis of the Pradana Park. I created a diagram showing the summer and winter solstice sun path along with wind directions coming into the park. Within the setback area, I chose a few areas here showing the views inside the park. From view 1 to 4, they all showcase calming views of nature, which is what the park's main attraction is known for. After understanding the site, I have come to this SWOT analysis. My client Tim Burton is an American director, producer, artist, writer. He is famous for his gothic fantasy and horror movies. His identity preferences is that he's an introverted and reclusive person. He often chooses solitary activities like painting and drawing. Burton's unusual, odd, and one-of-a-kind characters and arts conveys a peculiar personality and expression, and also Burton's frequent implementation of black and white nature in his work expresses monochrome style in terms of architecture. This is the collage that I drew from my ideation. My concept is the isolation between the public and private. So how can his work integrate in his life? Tim Burton is an introverted and reclusive person, and the design limits the interaction of his introverted private spaces from the public realm by distancing the private and public, linked by a hallway in between. Since the house will be located in a public area, I will implement the public engagement of this building with an outdoor hedge maze replicated from Alice in Wonderland, one of Burton's famous movies, implemented across the roof that the public can walk on. This allows visitors to physically experience Burton's creation and what it feels like to be inside an Alice in Wonderland fantasy maze. Moving on, this here shows the table adjacency matrix for my spaces. And the total floor area tabulation data of all the space is 135 square meter. And as Tim is an introverted reclusive person, my building placement will be here in the corner surrounded by trees while also limiting the interactions by distancing the private and public. The isolation of the introverted spaces in the corner of the island surrounded by trees also contributes to lesser noise disturbance. From the section view of my building placement, it shows that the sunrise from east will be embraced while the sunlight from the west will be filtered by trees. This is my bubble diagram that shows the private and public areas separated. For the ground floor diagram, the entrance is put at the back for Tim to be discreet upon entering his home away from public attention. And for the semi-private spaces, here are granted good views for the park while embracing the sun rising from the east. As for my first floor diagram, which shows where my private spaces are located, as Tim works more than he sleeps and he also prefers to work in isolated spaces, his workspace is located in the corner of the house which will be surrounded by trees from the side. And this is the hedge maze which will be above the semi-private spaces. When visitors enter the maze, they can freely navigate their way through the maze and explore the labyrinth. The name that I came up with for this building is Yonder Sanctum, which is, in my opinion, fits fits perfectly for my building. Yonder means being at a distance within view or at a place, whereas sanctum means a place where one is free from intrusion. Together, Yongton sanctum carries a meaning of a distant place where one can be free from intrusion, which is what the concept of this building is. Here shows the design development of my building. This is the original floor plan that I came out with based on my bubble diagram. And I detached the private from the public spaces and oriented the plan to provide distance between the two spaces and give a sense of isolation for more privacy on the private space. And the last development that I made is align the walls here. As the existing walls are blocking the pathway of the park. This is the site plan. It fits very well in this area and also seems isolated in the corner, which is quite suitable for Tim. This is the floor plan. His workspace and living areas cantilevered off the ground as it is near the tree and the tree roots will damage the building. The entrance here will be like a curved partition made of hedges to blend in with the surrounding trees. I designed it in a curved way so that when people walk past this area, they won't see directly into the entrance. And this is my level 1 plan view. It shows the hedge maze on top of the roof. Visitors can also expect a resting place at the end of the maze where they can sit down and rest while observing the view of the park. These are my sections, and section XX here shows the cut section of the semi-private spaces along the floor of the maze. Section YY shows the cut section of the private and semi-private spaces showing distance. And also a 1:25 scale detailing of this area of my building. The hedges will be planted in planter boxes and not attached on the roof to prevent breakage and puncturing the roof. The roof here is a waterproofing roof showing the layers for drainage from the hedge. The walls are of brick masonry with board form concrete finishing, and I used the application of plastic balls in my slabs. The reason is because it reduces the use of concrete. For example, 1 kg of recycled plastic can replace 100 kg of concrete. It is also energy saving and low carbon, reducing carbon emissions, not to mention reduce the weight of the structure, extending the life of the building. These are the elevations of my building, the east, north, south, and west elevation. The windows are screened by timber louvers fixed with a series of green walls from vines to provide and enhance privacy for my client. The private space here, the roof is a sawtooth roof and is also implemented with a clerestory window on top to give natural lighting for him to work while not allowing any public views to see him inside. This kind of roof allows daylight to enter the building and blocks the light and heat direct sun exposure. The roof is purposely made in this odd manner. This creates a slight irregular form compared to the other spaces in the house as his workspace is where his irregular and peculiar artworks are all created and born. This is my exploded structure. The roof that people walk on are of timber decking, and the wall finishes of the building are board form concrete because it creates lines of texture on the concrete resembling the wood to blend in with the surrounding. These are my interior perspectives. This interior perspective showcases the grand inner sense of isolation in the secluded corner. The interior perspective shows the hallway that goes up to the private spaces, which cannot be seen directly from exterior views and the public eye. And the semi-private kitchen here, the windows are with vines that helps to filter external views from seeing inside, while allowing inhabitants to see outside. And these are my exterior perspectives. And lastly, here are my tour presentation boards with consists of 8 individual informative boards. And lastly, this is my completed boards of 8. Thank you.